I got deep all right.
Yep. Okay. Casino Guitars. Happy hour. Cheers. Whatever you're doing. If you're drinking coffee, if you're drinking something more exciting.
Other things.
That's what we're doing in general. So we're talking about bands and what type of bands you should be in or you're in, and how to make the most bang for your buck and fun and make a lot of money, maybe.
I mean, mostly you sing your own original, like low tempo ballads.
Yeah, that's the best.
That's how to make the big bucks.
No, we're talking. No, but seriously, like, we're talking just like not like for like these guys trying to like make it in like the world and like be like a superstar. Like, let's just talk about like, you know, like realistic things. Like we hear things like, everybody's in a cover band, right?
Yes.
And then there's these. Then a lot of people have original music bands, which are awesome. I like original music. You're in an
occasionally
original music.
I dabble.
Yeah. So Jonathan Robinson has his own original music band that
It's true.
He used to tour. You're starting again.
I mean, maybe one day. We're getting there.
But then, then if you go to all your local bars and pubs and whatnot, it's mostly cover bands, and that's an awesome way to do it. Then we're all talking this morning, and Derek in particular was like, Baxter, you've had a lot of experience in this, and I was like, oh, I guess so. Like tribute bands.
Bands.
That is where the golden goose egg is a tribute band. Like if you're doing a cover band and you're having fun, that's great. But if you're trying to do it like sort of like make more money, you're doing it all wrong. You got to pick one thing.
Yes.
And you do it really well.
And you crush it.
Or you do it mediocrely and you're in a small market and you're the only game in town and you get all the. But no, seriously, like if you're gonna even if you're gonna do a cover band, I'd say narrow your field. Don't do everything. Yeah. If you're gonna be a cover band, like be grunge or be like Brit pop or be like 80s. But
have a thing you do.
Yeah, but
like
if you're
niche,
but even more though, if you're gonna be a tribute band, like be a Michael Jackson tribute band, be a Neil Diamond tribute band, be like an Oasis tribute band, a Rolling Stone tribute band, a Pink Floyd band. Some of these really top tier tribute acts make more money than most of the rock stars we listen to on the radio.
So crush it.
I mean it's insane.
Yeah.
I've been in multiple things. We'll get into what I've done too, just because I've had a funny track of this, and most people, I don't really talk about it ever.
And you've done both sides, which is cool, right?
Yeah,
You've booked them. You've been them.
I still book acts for some of the resorts around, and it's just, I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing. They needed a liaison. I've never been a booker, and then I got hired by this one group. This fellow named John Duvall's like, I like Baxter. He's like, I love his performing. He's probably good at booking. I'm like, I was like, how to book bands? Yes. But I understand how like the artists talk, what they need, and blah blah blah. Like as far as backlines and like, and I've also I work as an artist ambassador as a booker.
Yeah.
So like I think the artist should be paid more, I sort of negotiate that. Cool. Which is sort of odd for like a booker that's booking for a venue in a group. I'm like, no, I think that's a little undervalued. You should charge a little bit more. We can afford it. And I think you should get paid more. But anyway, I'm a weird one. Okay, so if you're not doing original music, we're gonna sort of put that off the table.
That's over here.
And we're moving over to tribute stuff. So pick a group, pick an artist, and go hard into it. Like get the look down. Most importantly, get the sound down, and get that sort of vibe. And if you're picking an artist, maybe pick a period of that artist too.
Yes.
Like if you're like a 50 to 70-year-old dude, don't be young Elvis.
Probably not the best idea.
You can still maybe pull off like old Elvis, like 40-year-old Elvis. Like do that. Like I was pulling off younger people for a long time. It's called hairspray and makeup. You can do that when you're like 20 years past their death date, and you're hey, I'm this guy. But that's one of the biggest things. Like and this is even without the website stuff to market it, like you can market it locally pretty quickly in the local pub. And like I did something with my friends here called Falcon Velvet. Like we did a hair metal just tribute act just for giggles, and it was fun. But we ended up getting paid quite a bit to do it. Right. Because no one was doing this.
And you weren't even like one specific artist. You were like a time period, right? That's a way to do it. I mean, you could do a tribute.
80s hair metal. Yep. Like the greatest of like, but we put on the full regalia, like this spandex / our wives' yoga pants, socks and pants, wigs, full makeup. one of our guys was a heart surgeon. One of our dear friends, like I know, like he got on call sometimes in full, like bloody female makeup, and it was fantastic. The other guy's like an electrical engineer that creates like these high tech things. He's our lead guitar player. A building contractor is the drummer. James was on bass, looking fabulous, with no clothes on half the time, shirtless and like full lady makeup. But we were paid like thousands of dollars per gig at bars. And we were just doing it just because we wanted to have fun with our friends.
There's something about when a bar average, like when you say so-and-so's band is there, it's like, whatever. That's sort of, that's cool. I enjoy that. But when you see a bar and they got like AC/DC tribute band, or it's more of an event, right?
Yes.
It's like you're going to an actual show.
Yes.
Which I think is why, people get excited. It warrants more money. And it is an absolute bump up immediately in what you're charging.
It's just, and even like, it's just fun. It sells more drinks. It makes the venue look cool after the fact, even when it's gone. Even if your band's like, okay, we were like, okay. Like I was the lead singer in this band. Like I can't get all those high notes. I got close. But,
why do people really come to see cover bands? They come to sing along, to hear songs they know. They don't really care. For the most part, if you're the most amazing musician they've ever heard. I know that's sacrilege. I'm so sorry.
That's cover bands.
That's cover bands.
But the tribute thing becomes something different.
Right. But so like when you can really focus in and play the songs they love from an artist they're obsessed with or love, right? And then really, really nail it.
It becomes this almost nostalgic, amazing version of karaoke. But with the show. And like when we were doing the Falcon Velvet thing, it was like we were ripping off a Steel Panther entirely. Don't get me wrong, but and that's the name, Falcon Velvet, Steel Panther. Great name though. It was spelled with a K in Falcon, like Falky. It's something ridiculous. And we had like logos, hilarious. And we even had like a trailer with Falcon Velvet. I forgot about that. No, but like, we had like whipped cream gags, like where the girls would come up, we like spray their faces with. It was very not family friendly, is what I'll say. But it was a lot of fun, and we had a good time. We did play some family events, which was absurd. But that was the thing. But then also something else I did for quite a bit of my career was I was a Buddy Holly performer. And that's just something a lot of people don't know. I did the Buddy Holly story. It was a Broadway theatrical production run. I did that all over the place for a bit. It was written by this fella in England decades ago. And so after I did that for a bit, people were like, oh, Baxter can perform and pretend to be Buddy Holly really well. And I was like, yeah, I could do this. So I just created my own shows where I just would do the concert versions of it without the theatrical stuff. And I would travel around doing it. And I got paid a ton of money to do it. It was fun. And I'd have my friends from New York be like, why are you doing that? Don't you feel like it's just like, don't you miss doing originals? I'm like, not really. Like, I still like doing originals, but this was such a different thing. And you look out in the audience of hundreds to thousands, not hundreds of thousands ever, but like, 1 to 2,000 to 3,000 people max would be like ever.
Right.
More like 1 to 2, I think. And they're all having a great time.
That's awesome.
It's an older audience.
Yeah.
They're dancing. My favorite experience still was this one time after the show. I came out, you're doing the meet and greet after the show. Hey, how y'all doing? With my little fake glasses on with no lenses, because you sweat a lot in a show, and so you don't wear lenses in your glasses. It's just a little fake trick if you're doing Buddy Holly. Pop the lenses out, or just buy like cheap ones from the dollar store. But I'm meeting a couple that come. This woman's face is covered in blood, and she's an older woman. She's like 70, I think, at this point. And they're smiling, and her husband was dancing so hard he elbowed her in the face. And like they were just dancing, and like she's covered. I was getting like, man, we just didn't want to leave though. I think her nose is broken. We're going. I was like, that was one of those joyous moments. I was like, that's cool, man. And then another guy's like, man, like my wife and I, like, she lost her virginity to this song. I'm like, that's a little weird, but I like hearing that story.
Hey, whatever.
No, but it's like I did that, then I found I could do Johnny Cash really well. I was like, hello, I'm Johnny Cash. And I went out and like learning. I've been everywhere. That was like, I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota. That was so much fun. But I did that, and I booked my own shows. Besides production shows, I was booked doing that. Made a lot of money doing it, and it was a ton of fun. And I got to do it with my friends.
It's awesome.
It's like you're playing music. Playing great music too. Like you're playing, and Buddy Holly stuff is fun to learn too. That was a ton of fun. If you're a young cat and like you're kind of a nerd, you look like Weezer, young Weezer, do Buddy Holly. It's a great gig. Like the older audiences will eat it up. No, it was tons of fun. I enjoyed it. So that was sort of my performing side of it.
Awesome.
And then I book shows too, as I said, and I book these pretty big, some of the biggest tribute acts in the world. Like from this, I booked the most popular ABBA tribute groups from Sweden.
Yes.
And I booked like the top Chicago tribute groups, and like, anywhere from like Fleetwood Mac to Elvis sort of tribute artists. I don't do the Elvis impersonators as much.
Right.
I think there is a difference.
I think so.
The tribute artists, like I know it sounds, but they really study the craft, not just like, the cheesy kung fu moves and everything, but they got the voice down too, the hair. One of the tribute artists I booked was Elvis's cousin.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is really weird.
That's kind of,
But no, just to give you an idea of how much some of these bands make, the Chicago tribute act, I mean, like $15,000 for an hour and a half show. We pay for a per diem for every member of the band and their back line. Well, we supply the back line too, so they don't have to bring anything except for their horns.
show up. Yeah.
They get hotels at a 4-star hotel. And this is, and sometimes it's more. It just depends on like the venue, and like this is sort of like a base average. Some are less. Like you can be in that sort of 5 to 10K range, and the same works for wedding bands.
Yeah.
A phenomenal money making machine, and like you haven't done that yet.
I have done some like corporate gigs, which are that same private party wedding thing. Yeah, if you get into that tier of playing those that circuit, man, there's a lot of money to be made. What would you say the baseline average is for
10,000.
Yeah.
Like like 5 to 10 is sort of like the wedding, like sort of because for a low end, because most wedding bands have to travel.
Right.
Like it's not like you're getting married in your town. You're in usually. It's an hour drive minimum, sometimes 4. Some of the top wedding bands are upwards of $10,000 to $25,000 for an evening. These are usually like sort of celebrity based. I booked some tribute acts too, like the Diamonds and the Kingston Trio, which has had 1 surviving member still, but the Diamonds have 0 surviving members. It's a licensed group, phenomenal group, and like the lead of that, he's a really smart musician. But it's not no original members.
Yeah.
But, because the Diamonds, God, they would be all 90 at this point now. They're all, I think, they've gone to the heavens. But it's a funny business, too. Like when these are famous, like the Temptations and the Four Tops still gig, minus COVID. And I've met some of those guys come through the guitar shop before, really cool cats. But these are young dudes. They're like, 40 years old, some of them, to maybe 60 at the oldest. They were not the original Temps.
No.
But man, those cats can sing, and they still make a great living. Awesome. And a lot of these acts will not even be living in the same town. Like one might be in Detroit, one might be in South Carolina. When the bookings happen, they all route. They go to the same place. Your agent takes care of that, or you're built-in agent in your group.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty neat ethosphere out there that most people don't realize they can tap into.
Right. And I think some, there's the snob in most of us musicians that says, "Oh, I wouldn't want to do that," or "I'd never do that," or it's
I was gonna
not,
make fun of you for that. Well, because you're an artist, like, and you want to do your own music, and I respect that too. And like,
I mean, there are things. The thing about it that is, first off, the Nashville stuff I've experienced.
Yeah.
When you have hundreds or, like you said, a couple thousand people screaming and happy, it doesn't matter if you're playing wagon wheel. Like, that's amazing. Anybody who says that is not fun is lying, or they're just a miserable person. Like, I don't care if you're a miserable person. You are playing G, C, D, and an occasional E minor, and there are 1,000 people screaming.
And you can play the E minor with your 1 and 2 fingers, or your 2 and 3 fingers.
Right.
Either way,
it doesn't matter. Both are fine. That's amazing. That's great. So I get that. The thing for me that's most unappealing about the tribute stuff is a lot of the joy for me is being able to sort of improvise and do whatever I want. And obviously, you're probably not going to do that in a tribute act.
No, I mean, like, but you could be like a tribute Allman Brothers band.
Yes.
I mean, I'm still waiting for you to turn a little grayer so you can be a ZZ Top
One
tribute.
day.
That's my goal.
Get a little longer here.
I want a little. You need to keep it growing. It is. I was looking at pictures of you from the other. And I was like, what would he look like without a beard? It's not pretty.
The beard's a necessity.
But even when we first met, the beard was short.
I know. I just it
was this little tiny.
I let myself go. Just let it grow.
I don't like it short. I don't want it to ever be that way again. And no matter what you say out there, like, I'm not letting him cut it. He can't. But like, keep the shears away from him.
Speaking of Allman Brothers tribute bands, one of our good friends, Mr. John Martin, plays in one of the best Allman Brothers tributes around. That's it, Idlewild South.
Idlewild South, a phenomenal tribute band. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch trying to say penguin. He can't say, he's like, penguins.
Penguins.
It's really funny when he says it. But no, Idlewild South. I can't even, Idlewild.
I can never say it. Idlewild. Why is that so hard to say?
That's a tough name.
It is.
I get the name, but
it's cool, but it's
I get it, but I don't know. Man. Yeah. John, I'm sorry. That name it's a tongue twister. Idlewild South. It's they are good. They got the 2 drummers.
They got percussion and 2 drummers.
It's like
they bring the full B3 organ. Like, it's not a keyboard. God, it's an actual, like, Giant Leslie. And
I was trying to get one of those for, like, years.
It has its own trailer.
I just gave up on that.
They have their Winnebago.
I wanted to have one in here, like, sort of hidden behind the camera. It's just like a... But then, it didn't work out for me.
I mean, it's really fun to play.
They're expensive.
They are expensive.
And they're a nightmare to work on.
I was going to say, they can be finicky.
Yeah, like, if they break, you're just out of luck.
Right.
Unless you live in a major metro, which we don't. Yeah. I'm not carrying that thing up to... And with the COVID world, nothing's getting repaired at the moment. It's like a 6-month backlog on your amp repairs. Any of our guys. Oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, so seriously, if you're a local guy and you have a knack for like sounding like an artist, like seriously consider just like that is your guy, that is your girl. Like it's it can be like there can be like a Melissa Etheridge tribute thing. Like I've seen that. It's amazing. Yeah. It's just fun. Like come to my window. You're like yes, I'm into this. Like I've never seen that once and it was amazing. But like even if it's like sort of a weird band, like the Glass Animals started off playing like that's a band now. They started off as a Strokes tribute band.
There you go.
You know, sort of like they did a few Strokes covers. That's what they were doing. It wasn't really a real tribute band. They were 17. That's funny. That's how old the Strokes are now. They're like my age. Which is really, they won a Grammy last night too. So if you're watching this video, last night was the Grammys for us when we shot this. And I was super psyched. That band has been one of my favorite bands for a decade and a half plus
Awesomeness.
now. Almost 20 years. It's disturbing. The 40-year-old Strokes out there. They still dress the same. They look cool like hipsters. Hey. But they all have children and mortgages now. It's weird. What happens. But no, think hard. Like the cover bands are great, but like focus it. Even our great friend that works with Jeremy here, like I'm like, man, like figure out one artist and be that guy because he can sing his little tail off. And his band's good. He's got a good guitar player. And like they play the bar thing back when the bars had bands. But like I mean, if you can focus, you can have a lot of fun and make a lot more money.
Good money.
It's great, and the bars want to have it too. You become an event instead of just another band to fill Friday or Saturday night.
And you will be busy if you want to be.
There's hair. Blowing. Like, wow, it's cool. That's all I got to say, really.
That is it? That's it?
I mean, unless there's anything else, am I missing anything?
No.
Am I missing anything, Derek?
No.
Okay, I think we're good there. Good. Yeah, it's that's all.
Let us know what you think of tribute bands. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you in one? Do you want to be in one? Tell us in the comments.
That'll be the day. It's a Buddy Holly joke.
Hit like and subscribe despite our poor jokes. We will see you next time. Don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss videos. Thank you, guys.